Streaming cyberspace into your place, sanctioned by the Red Light Racing League. From Oxford Plains Speedway to the Virtual Rift Network's Round 11 coverage of the Skitter Creek SK Modified Series Season 13. Tolstoy penned, "Spring is the time of plans and projects." Well, every member of Red Light Racing can read a calendar, and they know today is the first day of spring, and all sans one have a similar project, share the same plan, and that is to put the cold winter that is Eric Stout behind them. Little House on the Prairie, Laura Ingalls Wilder said, "Some old-fashioned things like fresh air and sunshine are hard to beat. Well, half pint, nobody's been harder to beat this season than Stout. Teapot has been victorious 6 out of the last 8 races and is nursing a 2-race win streak coming into tonight. Scripture says, bloom where you are planted." Well, the schedule makers have planted the drivers in the unusual digs that is Oxford's Plains, and Stout's dominance continues here tonight, or will he hold back that bloom? According to Robin Williams, spring is nature's way of saying, let's party. So with that in mind, pull the lever on the lazy boy and settle in for the party that is the simulated short track racing action that's about to stream your way. A warm Pine Tree State hello and welcome on this, the spring equinox of 2025. The institution, J.R. Shepard, joins yours truly, Bill Soups on, live from the VGN broadcast booth to bring you our bird's eye view. We play Ryan Senator, turning the knobs and pushing the sliders. JR, some love it, some hate it, but there is nothing like it. And we're talking about Oxford Plains.
Yeah, Soup, tonight it's going to be a frustrating night for many drivers out there. This place, it's a 3/8 of a mile oval with only 9 degrees of banking, but the drivers will be turning left almost the entire time around this track. That, along with the narrow racing groove, will make it super tough to make a pass tonight, which brings me to my next point. I expect to see that chrome horn being used throughout the race. The bottom of the track is where you need to be, and sometimes moving that driver ahead of you out of the way is the only way to make a pass. But so the easiest way to get to the front is to start out front. So this may be the most important qualifying session of the season if you want any chance to win here tonight.
Move a driver out of the way. You don't have to worry about putting him in the wall because there's not a lot of walls around this place. My gosh, I hope the kids out there that are playing Frisbee pay attention if a car gets off track and starts heading their way. Let's take a quick look at the rules. Remember, these rules allow for, the rule package allows for a driver to drop his single worst result, so these graphics reflects each driver's best. What it would be? It would be 9 out of 10 results so far this season. We keep the worst result, we call it, in his pocket. Eric Stout is looking to match his longest winning streak of the season. He's at, which was at 3. He's got 2 in a row right now. In Stout's last 3 wins, Bradley Steffen, well, he's finished right behind him in second. Kenny Allen led 4 laps at Southern National. Brian Bianchi picked up a win early on at Concord before Teapot got hot. Southern National dealt Rex Hoyle his first bad result. Chad Alcaraz holds station. Jeff Aho, hey, how about this? He's one of only 2 drivers with an Oxford win on his resume. Fred Leclerc is coming off a disappointing 16th. Welcome to the top 10 graphic for the first time this season. Granny Hips himself, Josh Buckley. And then Kid Lemon Lime, Luke Logan Allen down there. He leads all drivers in incident points. The kids want to clean it up here tonight. Good place to do it. Not a lot of walls to bump into. Well, there's your points. And you can see the huge lead there that Teapot has. Some 50 points over Steffen. And of course, remember, they do have 1 bad result in their pocket. What's the rule package here tonight? JR, how far are we going? How far do we need to go? What's up?
Yeah, so we got 100 laps that these drivers are going to be turning here tonight. The leader always has lane choice, but we do not take off on the green until that green flag is shown, which can make it tricky for those leaders. We do get a green-white checker attempt, multiple green-white checkered attempts, and we do have a set of tires left in the pits, but I do not expect any of these drivers to be taking that here tonight. Track position is going to be key.
There you have it. Thank you for that. Glad you were with us here. As we start to run down the season, race number 11. So this one And then just 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 to go. As we're about to call the grid, I've got a warm place in my heart for our grid sponsor because last month while I was doing some court-ordered community service, picking blueberries right here in the fields of Maine, when the boss would yell break time, me and the gang, well, you know what we do? We tune into racedayct.com, the most comprehensive site for short track racing news in New England. And Maine, indeed, is a state in New England. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and set the grid for you right now. Chad Alcaraz is going to be starting on the pole. That's the first pole for him this season, with points leader Eric Stout outside of him in the second spot.
Yeah, second row, Brian Bianchi will roll off third alongside him. In fourth place will be Jeff Aho.
Aho knows how to win here, so keep an eye on him. Rob Higgins will be going inside of Fred Leclerc as they fill up row 3.
Starting seventh place, we've got Andrew Massey. Alongside him in eighth will be Ken Allen.
Rex Hoyle got his first non-top 10 finish last time out. He hopes to turn that around tonight. He'll be starting in ninth. Veteran Brian Neff outside of him.
Yeah, rolling off in 11th place winner this season, Brandon Feeney. Alongside him in 12th will be Luke Logan Allen.
Bradley Steffen likes to finish behind Stout a lot, but he's got a long way to go to catch him. He's in the Baker's dozen spot with Aiden Vecchion in 14th.
Rolling off in 15th, we've got Chris Oliver. Alongside him in 16th will be TJ Henson.
Joshua Buckley and Scott Niga. Oh, Niga's way in the back, filling up that last row. All right, the parade lap is done. Give you an opportunity to take a look at the track right now. Surprise man up on front, number 17, Chad Alcaraz. We'll see what he can do.
It's definitely the best spot to be in the house, to be starting out front and to have control of that race. We'll have to see if he's able to keep it because he will have to watch out from behind those drivers trying to take advantage of any mistake he makes.
Uh-oh, Jeff Aho having some internet connection problems, but he's blinked his way back in his car. All right, chug-a-lug. Makes you want to holler, hi-de-ho, let's go racing here. Chad Alcaraz leads the field down into the first corner. Stout stuck on the outside. That's 14 Bianchi trying to get in there, hold the points leader to the outside. There's no room for him to get in.
There's absolutely not, and the outside does not work very well here. It can work early, but you have to keep that inside driver really tight to that inside curb. Right now you can see they're pretty even as they go down the backstretch.
Racing the line I like to take is get way out wide, go around the outside, through the grass, behind the grandstands. They don't see it coming. Oh, we got a caution already. Got a car off in the dirt. It is Kid Lemon Lime. He's out there along with Alvecchion. Not sure which one caused the caution. I guess Alvecchion got caught up there with the 52 of Buckley.
Yeah, looking at that replay, I believe it was Feeney going into the inside of Brian Neff into that corner. Looked like he just pushed up a little bit. Something super easy to do here at Oxford Plains because you don't want to hit the curb. And I believe that contact just shot the 6 car outside of the track and around. And along with that, I think Alvecchion was checking up because of the carnage and got turned also.
So we get our first yellow. Take a quick look here. It's a little difficult for us to pull drivers up. Not sure who they're going to let us pull up. How about we pull up Bradley Steffen? He's way in the back. I don't think he was involved in that incident. Let's go ahead. Bradley, a soup up here in the booth. We see you're down at pit lane. What happened?
Not having a good start to the race. That's what happened. Just whatever happened up there, I got a little collected into it. Right front damages, trying to get as much fixed as I can.
Horrible qualifying for you. Did you make a mistake or just don't like the track?
No, I told you guys last week I hate this place. It's not one of my tracks. So, yeah, we're just here to hopefully everyone else kind of wrecks. That's how we're going to get our spots, and that's that. I don't know.
All right, you're still on the lead lap. Good luck, man.
Thank you, guys.
So he was cut up in that. Got a little bit of damage. So we went in and took a pit stop. We'll go around one more time here. Not that far around this place. What did we say? 3.38 of a mile, just a tick under 4/10.
It's a small track, but it looks like on screen that this place has straightaways, but inside the car you're very rarely turning straight here. So it's very demanding for the driver, very mentally demanding, trying to make sure that you're not making any mistakes to let that driver behind you get by.
Pace car pulls in. Chalakaris out in front. He's led the whole way so far. We go green one more time. Stuck on the outside this time is the 14 of Bianchi. Stout moves into second. Filing in behind him, the number 40 of Rob Higgins. Nice run from him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's getting to the inside there, trying to make that pass on Fred Leclerc, and I believe alongside him, or excuse me, behind him is going to be Ken Allen trying to move his way through.
And we report, I'm going to just assume I see the Jeff Aho, the defending champ, car number 21 is well down the list. I guess that internet problems caught him, and he had to call it an early night. That's too bad. You wait the whole week to go racing. You look forward to it. You go to work and come home, and then it happens. It ends so quick.
Yeah, it's basically Soup iRacing's version of having a mechanical failure. It's not something you plan for or expect, but it does happen, and it is frustrating when it happens because there's just nothing you can do about it.
Big mover is Feeney, Brandon Feeney, up 4 spots. He's got to win this season. He's on the inside line. There comes our leaders going around, and we look back.
Yeah, you know, Soup, this is a very hard place. I spoke about it a little bit earlier to try to make a pass, but I've seen a couple of these drivers, and most of them are the drivers that have a gap back to the car behind them, so they've got room to do it. But the easiest way to make that pass is if that guy in front of you is getting on the throttle early and pushing wide coming out of the corner, you can kind of set them up and get underneath them before you get into that next corner. I've seen a couple of those drivers going very wide. You can see it there on our screen, while some of them, like Rex Hoyle there, is being able to keep it nice and tidy on the inside.
Talk about the car pushing wide. I think a car being pushed wide is the 71 of Fred Leclerc. My gosh, Fred's been out there almost the entire race. I'm not really sure if he wants to get down. There's a little room for him to tuck in front of Brian Neff. Brian says, go ahead if you want it, but Leclerc says, I kind of like rolling around the second lane.
Yeah, it's one of those things that once you get put out there, you can make it work for maybe a lap, 2 laps at most, but once the tire temps start to come up, there is hardly any grip in those front tires. If you're stuck on that outside lane, you're just going to continue to go back. Unless you can find a gap right there. He's got one right there. We'll see if he takes it. Looks like he is going to get to the inside behind Neff.
All right, better turn our attention up front because the teapot is beginning to steam. Eric Stout in the number 12, right behind Alcaraz. Now, Chad has led all 18 laps so far, but Stout's starting to get a little bit anxious. Maybe get that spot. He's got Bianchi behind him.
Yeah, and this onboard shot is extremely cool, and it can tell you a lot about this track. You can see that white-looking line down there. That's actually a curb on the inside of the track. You do not want to touch that. If you do, it will just throw the camber off in the car and make it extremely loose. And having said that, that's where the grip is right next to that curb. So you want to be as close to it without touching it. And as you can see, as he goes to that corner, you see that opening right there? That is on both sides of the racetrack, and that makes it very difficult for the driver to judge exactly the radius of that corner as he's turning in. It's very easy to not hit the curb on corner entry, but hit it in the center of the corner.
Turning left, turning left, turning left, coming out of the corner, turning left. What I like to do when I race this place, I put my rig, I put like the left side of my rigs up on milk crates, so I'm constantly leaning that direction. Maybe the G-forces going around here. That's a good shot. Ryan Sendeker was busy today finding lots of new camera angles here, as we've never come to BGN, at least for a long time, hasn't been to this place.
And what we're starting to see on screen right now from those camera shots is they're starting to open up some gaps, meaning that there's going to be some drivers that are holding up one of these packs. And when that happens, you start to get some frustration from the car behind that's a little bit faster. They start to want to use that chrome bumper. And right now, as you look up front, you can see a gap between Stout and Bianchi up there, and that's going to allow Stout to kind of move around and do some things that he wouldn't normally do if he can get close enough to Alcaraz. Right now, Alcaraz is doing a great job, almost having a 0.3 of a second lead.
I'm going to take you to a yellow flag that's about to fly. Let's go to car number 71, Fred Alcaraz. Now, Alcaraz finally got to the inside of Neff, went underneath him, gave him a little bit of a hip check, a la hockey player. Neff said, I did not like that very much, so now Neff is fighting back. Easy, boys, settle down a little bit. They get down in there. Gently, gentlemen, gently.
Yeah, and that you saw right there, when you have a car with these modifieds on the inside, it is very easy to make right front contact to that other driver's left rear tire, and any contact whatsoever can just send that car right around. It does not take much. It'd be like putting your hand on the side of that car in the corner and spinning it out. So it's very, very tight racing here, but these drivers so far have done a fantastic job of not making that contact that will send the other car around.
It's single file all the way around except for these two cars that keep rolling around. Lap after lap, side by side, Cialis bathtubs. Claire and Neff.
Yeah, and I'm really impressed here with Leclerc. He's been on the outside more than anybody, so he has the experience. He knows what that car feels like and how he needs to drive it, but he's been able to hang tough, and we saw, I think it was DJ Henson in the background going around.
And a yellow flag comes out. We think it might be Henson. Find it for you there, so I guess we gotta look at it. Yeah.
Yep, and it's, he hit the curb, and he didn't just, hit it and bounce off of it. He kind of hit it and high-centered on it, kind of teeter-tottered the car a little bit, and you're basically on a skid plate at that point, and the car just comes right around. So something super, super easy to do here, especially when you're close to a car that's right in front of you like we saw there. It throws off your concentration on exactly where that curb is.
Okay, I'm going to bring up to the booth here Josh Buckley.
What's going on?
Hey, Josh, how you doing? Welcome to the top 10. We saw you in the top 10. We get to call your name on the pre-race show. Nicely done.
Thank you.
How you feeling out there today?
Well, trying to fight some lower back pain. Just trying to ride through this race. So we'll see how it goes. I wasn't expecting too much, but hit that curve there. Put me a little. Back there, but thankfully that caution just came out and kind of saved me from going a lap down, so we'll see how it goes.
The body's failing you. You already got the nickname of Granny Hips. Do we need to pick up another one about the back? Is it going to get better?
Yeah, I've been dealing with this for about 2 weeks, but this is about as worse as it's been, but heaven forbid you try to better yourself and do some exercising and make it worse.
All right, well, maybe not the best track to be at us. You're always turning here. Good luck to you, man.
You never know. We'll see what goes on it.
All right. Number 13 of Joshua Buckley. They're doubling up. He's led the whole way out in front. Chad Alcaraz. They go again. Good start from Stout this time. All right, let's see if Teapot can pin him down there and we'll get some racing up front. In the popcorn position, that's Brian Bianchi. Trying to see, do I want to go high? Do I want to go low? Who's going to win this, the inside or the outside? Looks, JR, like the inside might have the better of it.
Yeah, the inside typically prevails here. It's just very, very slick on that outside, and it gets worse as the race goes on. And right now, Stout, what he sees is not only Alcaraz going by, but Bianchi trying to get his nose in there, and right behind Bianchi is Feeney. So Stout has got to make something happen here, or he's going to go to the back if we stay green.
Chad Alcaraz must really like this place. He qualified the fastest. He's been out front. He has really good paces. You see Bianchi has a hard time keeping that gap there, trying to keep Stout out there. Stout doing a good job of being patient, not forcing his way down in there.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, so we talked about how good Alcaraz is here, and that Stout stuck on the outside. Stout's really hanging tough, but I've got to think in the back of my mind whether Alcaraz is not making the pass intentionally because he wants to make sure that Stout's not able to get in behind him. And that is a tactic that you can use here at Oxford Plains. You can kind of hold that guy out on the outside to make sure that he never gets down and in return goes way to the back.
Well, there's not going to be a lot of tears shed for Eric Stout if somebody makes it a little more difficult for him. But look at the problem that Bianchi is having. Oh, man, he touched it in really deep. He must have been listening to me as he was beginning to lose pace I think he felt it, and he took it in really deep into one. I was going to get into Stout.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Stout needed, just to be able to get that little bit of a break. But yeah, almost contact there. We've seen it a lot up front this season. Didn't happen this time.
Yes, we have indeed. All right, now stuck on the top side is the yellow number 40 of Rob Higgins. He's got the 83 of Andrew Critical Massey underneath him.
Yeah, and there's multiple drivers back here that are continuing to be side by side. You got Bradley Steffen and I think Fred Leclerc out there on the outside. So these guys have not sorted out, but you see there a couple of times, I think I saw Steffen get a little bit loose on corner exit. That is something that happens with these cars. If you over throttle it on corner exit, the car will get light and get loose on you. You typically don't spin out from it, but it costs you time, and in return, you have to fall back.
You know, the lap times are 14, just like 14 and a half seconds. Is it just my impression of, it seems like the cars are actually going slower. I just mean miles per hour. It's just that you actually must be a slower track, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, definitely. You're not running a whole lot of speed here. You're typically having to lift pretty early in order to get that car to rotate through the corner, especially through the center of the corner. So if you overdrive the entry, it's going to push up. So these drivers are having to watch that speed. It's just not a play. It's flat. You know, we talked about only about 9 degrees in the corners here. You're not carrying a whole lot of speed around here. It really feels like you're just circling a parking lot, to be honest with you.
Love that low angle shot looking at a 2-wide battle. Don't need to go there, but I want to give a tip of the hat to Brandon Feeney. He's up 7 spots, racing in 4th. Might be somebody to keep an eye on when we go back and look at the leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. He's moved way up, and right behind him with Neff is he's gained 5 spots in this race. So there are drivers that have a lot of experience around this place that are able to make ground, but a lot of that comes from those starts and restarts that we've had.
Still looking at that 2-wide battle. I'll give the tip of the hat to the outside line. I don't know, clearly not the fastest way around, but they do a pretty good job of hanging on out there.
Yeah, it's been a little bit surprising, and I'll just be honest, I've not ran Oxford Plains in many seasons, so with the way the tire model has developed, you know, throughout the multiple seasons, maybe that outside has gotten a little bit better over the years, but it's typically one of those things as this track marbles up and you start to get the rubber on that high side thrown up there that the outside just loses grip on corner entry and you're just not able to keep up. But so far, at least with the way that the setup is working in these cars tonight, that outside is able to hang on for a little while.
I wonder if the fact that there's no outside wall on so much of the track, if you can just keep moving the marbles up, just keep brushing them up like a broom, get them up into the sand.
You can definitely move them up the track. You're going to have somebody venture up, and usually you want them to venture up slowly, you know, like a quarter of a lane at a time, up and up. If you do that, you don't notice much of a difference. But yeah, you can definitely throw those marbles higher up the racetrack.
Yeah, the only brave person right now looks like Kid Lemon Lime, Luke Logan Allen. He's on the outside, racing back there with Randy Hips Buckley. They're back racing for what would be about 12th position. A little farther up, there's a 2-wide battle. Pretty good racing so far. We're over halfway. Oh, we got a spinner in the back. It's the 71 going around.
Yeah, we'll get a different angle of that, but I believe one of the cars bounced off of the curb and may have bounced into Fred Leclerc there. But no, actually, it was Fred Leclerc getting on the curb. So, yeah, just one of those deals that, you know, it's very difficult. And we talked about it from the onboard camera. That curb is split on both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it's very easy to misjudge where you re-enter that curb area through the bottom of the track, and right about that same spot is where Fred was able to hit that and go around. But hey, we see some cars on pit road here.
Interesting. Boy, some guys from the very front. Rex Hoyle coming down pit low. No, did I have that correct? I believe I do, yeah. Oh, Rex has made one earlier. Ken Allen has made a pit stop.
Yes.
And Alcaraz, too.
Soup, I'm super surprised to see that these drivers have come in for tires being only a 100-lap race, and with how tough it is to pass out there. So this is an opportunity for some of those guys that decide either, hey, I did something, off sequence early in the race, or I'm just not going to pit today.
My goodness, with just what will be like 35 to go, we go green. Drivers that have come in, Alcara, Stout. Well, instead of me saying it, let's bring up my favorite graphic. Let's bring up this little corner graphic that we got, and you can see the drivers have made a pit stop. There you go. Now, you can see that Alan made his a long time ago, but look down there, you can see those guys, the little tip of blue on the right-hand side. Alcara, Stout, Higgins. Interesting. JR. My money is on Brian Bianchi right now. I wish we could talk to Brian, because I think he's going to be able to fend these guys off.
I think so too, because he had plenty of pace during that last run, and now he's got drivers in between him and the guys that were up front. So we'll see what happens there.
So keep an eye. Now, Ken Allen did make a stop, but he's been out there for 13 laps. So it's been a while.
Yeah, and you can see Rex Hoyle, he's one of those drivers that elected to stay out. He's on the inside of Brian Neff, challenging for that second position right now. And Rex, he's one of the most consistent drivers. We've talked about it in multiple races this year. One of the most consistent finishers inside that top 10.
Good start from Bianchi. They come out of corner number 4. He comes across the line, completing lap number 66. Got two drivers side by side. And I'll tell you right now, the more that Neff and Hoyle are side by side, the harder it's going to be for those guys with tires to come up there. That's the 81 also. With Ken Allen looking for a spot. Now remember, Ken made a stop.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing earlier. If those guys could just stay side by side, that's a perfect strategy to keep everybody behind you, assuming a caution doesn't come out.
The action is going to be in the back. We'll try to watch everything. You can see the guys. There's a lot of guys who made that stop and want to make it pay off, as they are really working. Oh my goodness, this is totally different from what we saw early on. What's going on farther back?
Yeah, absolutely. These drivers are wanting to move forward. There's just not much room to go. Yeah,
Vanilla gets loose. He comes up, bumps into. That was the car. That was Chris Oliver. Oliver able to keep going straight. Does the caution fly? It does not, I guess, because Allen gets elbowed off into the main alfalfa, into the blueberry field.
Yeah, and that's going to disrupt what we were watching back there, that great pack that we saw. And right now, I'm looking on the screen, and I'm seeing that Eric Stout is able to get by Chad Alcaraz. He's got Alcaraz on the outside, so Stout would be the highest ranked driver out of those most recent ones that came into pit.
Racing in fourth. He's got three guys in front of him. They're side by side behind him. That's Alcaraz. Now remember, Alcaraz was out in front of Stout, but as so often happens, Stout was able to make the pass late in the race. Stuck on the outside is Chris Oliver. Oliver was the car that got bounced off of. All right, Director, let's turn our attention to number 12. He's working on the back of Brian Neff. Gets a good drive off of 2. Look at the momentum down the, I hate to even say back straight, down the back curve.
Yeah, and that's how these drivers with fresher tires are going to be able to pass. That driver that's ahead of you, if he's just not able to hold the car down while applying the throttle, you're able to get underneath him.
Another caution. I think Josh Buckley involved in this one. A little accordion effect, and I think the TJ Henson got into him and looped him around. They were just checking up so they didn't get into each other. Oh, unbelievable! Is the leader pitting? Is Bianchi coming in?
It looks like they are, Soup, and yeah, I guess they saw the advantage that these other drivers had, so now they're going to try it themselves, but I'm afraid they're going to have more cars to go through than what those last last drivers that pitted did.
Once you didn't pit on that last yellow, you kind of made your bed. I would think that you would have to lay in it for the final 23 laps, but Bianchi, boy, he must not have been liking it.
Yeah, I agree, Soup. Especially, I mean, once we go green, we're only going to have about 19 laps left in this race, and I would rather to be on defense in that situation than to try to come through the field. Especially
up here in the booth where we're looking for a little excitement. We understand Bianchi sorts out in 13th position. He was your leader. Well, maybe he just really thinks those tires are going to work. The problem is he only has an advantage of a handful of laps on Stout because they just came in, so their tires aren't that worse shape. Now this is interesting though. We're not done yet because Alcaraz has been really, really good. And now he's on the outside. Let's see if he can pin Teapot down in there. See how long they stay too wide. We got about 20 laps to go. They have to wait for the flag man to pick it up and start to wave. They wait, they wait, they wait, they wait. They go simultaneously. Stout with a little bit of an advantage. Alcaraz trying to make the top side roll. He's not going to get there. There's room for him to tuck down in behind. And we got another caution. Alcaraz will get another try at it. Oh, man, they are piling in. They're going off into the main coastline there, out into the beach. They need a plastic bucket and an umbrella. Brandon Feedy. And stay on Feedy for a while if you could. If this gets even more. Feedy's out there in the beach. He comes down. Everything's fine. Just coming down in here. And, oh! There's another driver.
Yeah, he went airborne quite a bit and got some left front suspension damage out of that, unfortunately, and just not something that was going to be easy to drive.
Oh, my goodness. No outside wall. Kind of like it now. Well... Former winner. Look down here. I'm not able to talk to Alcaraz. I wish I was, but he's not in our interview list. He's going to get another shot at Stout.
He is, and you know the interesting thing about those drivers that came in and pitted, just due to the length of the track more than anything. But these SKs, they primarily wear out that right side tire. So a lot of these drivers only took right sides in order to stay on the lead lap. But in doing that, having as many laps on those left side tires, you do have a temperature difference. You also have a tread wear difference on those tires, and that can change the handling of the car. So I'm kind of interested to see how that affects that outside line, or whether or not that can give Alcaraz an advantage if he gets a good enough start, because in normal terms that normally frees up the car, so the car doesn't turn very well on the outside with those two tires on the right sides. It may just turn exactly the way he needs it.
That is fascinating. Chair, I love working with you. Okay, we're going to try it again. Alcaraz gets a little better run on it this time. He's going to try to make that outside line work. He's about a half a car length back. Now he's a full car length back. That is the 40. Trying to get in there of Rob Higgins. Everybody has made a stop except for Chris Oliver. They get it sorted out in front. Stout and Alcaraz.
Yeah, the outside did not work for Alcaraz, but he is able to slot back into second place, and he'll have an opportunity to try to go after Stout here, but the laps are starting to run out.
Bianchi, who was our leader when he took that stop, buried in 13th position.
Yeah, and honestly, I think he's going to look back at this race and kind of regret that decision, just because of the way things have played out with the way we've had cautions. I think he'd have been perfectly fine up front. Maybe not the win, but it would have been a really tough race for him to fall all the way back to 13th. But who knows? Still plenty of racing to go. The driver to watch who has the newest rubber is a TJ Henson, I believe. So, we got another caution. This might be good for those guys that made stops for tires. We'll look at the replay here. I think Buckley got.
He found a wall. That's hard to do here.
Yeah, it looked like Aiden kind of hit the curb a little bit. Buckley was trying to avoid, and Bianchi had already gone to the top side, and it just threw Buckley right in the outside wall. So, yeah, talked to him a little bit earlier. He was already having a rough night. That probably didn't make him feel too well either with that impact there.
It's lobster time here in Maine for Josh Buckley as his night is over. Alcaraz will get another shot at Stout. Let's go ahead and bring up our pit stop graphic again. I believe, if I'm looking at my Score Me tire, guy with the freshest rubber, you got to go all the way back to Rex Hoyle. Yeah, there it is, in 8th. See there that Stefan did not make that pit stop last time, so that's why he's up there in 4th, and he's got some older tires. Nope, let me correct myself. They all made the stop up there all at the same time. It's just the colors got inverted. Everyone stopped at the same time, except for
Yeah, and unfortunately for Rex, he's going to be restarting on the outside there, which, you know, we've seen it be able to work in a lot of cases, but when you're back in 8th place, you got a lot of cars in front of you that can kind of impede your momentum after the restart there. So this may not work out for him, but absolutely, he's got about 16 lap fresher tires than those around him.
Well, he's won 6 out of the last 8. Earlier this season, he had a 3-race win streak. He's trying to do it again. Of course, we're talking about Teapot Eric Stout. He's going to have himself just a handful of laps to bring home another win. It would be his 7th of the season. Pace car pulls in. Alcaraz each time gets a little better start, but then he gives up on it. Trying his hardest, coming out of 2, losing ground to Stout.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to make it work once again, but I was kind of interested to see if he could do the over-under on Stout there, but he just wasn't able to get the track position he needed to get the right angle there.
Bradley Stefano has made a point of finishing 2nd behind Stout so often. Well, he's stuck on the outside now, losing a spot to Fred Leclerc. Leclerc really has been the star of the show. He's had the most fun per mile of all the drivers right now. It's been in competitive battle the entire time. One more caution. Brian Neff, I think, but then Brian gets turned. It's Neff gets into it with the 14 of Bianchi. And then gets straightened out. And then looping around is the 81 of Ken Allen. And then Neff goes ahead for good measure, straightens him out as well.
Yeah, that was another one of those checkup issues, and those checkups, they happen more and more, or they're more prevalent to you anyway when you're further back in that pack. And like we talked about with Bianchi, once he made that pit stop, it really put him in bad territory back there, and just nowhere to go. Got in the Neff, and we see the result.
Put on an extra layer of clothes just in case Neff decides to hit me. He's getting everybody else. Just teasing you, Brian. All right, are we in green-white checker land, JR? Is that where we are?
Yes. Yeah, we are going right there, I believe, right now. So we're on lap 100. So, yes, we will be into green-white checker territory. And we are allowed 3 in this series. So we'll have to make sure that we get that white flag in order to not go into the next round of green-white checker.
Okay, now what Fred Leclerc, or Alcaraz, or Chad Alcaraz needs to do, little trick here. You need to watch the flagman, and when you see his shoulder dip, that's when he's reaching down into his quivy of flags there. He's going to pull it out. You got to go before he starts to wave.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, in a short run, if he can get a good restart here, you can make that outside work, specifically coming off of turn 4.
Make the outside work. Is that... Oh, I see how cars going to the inside. Is he suggesting to Stout that maybe he wants... They're figuring out how this is going to work. Teapot says, I'm not going to... And now we go, and somehow Alcaraz is down in 3rd.
I'm not sure at all what happened right there. Some movement in that front row and looked like a lot of confusion.
Put the hammer in the oven because the camel has learned to read. I don't know what's going on. I can tell you this much. Two more quarters for Eric Stout to pick up another win. Looks like Rob Higgins in that yellow number 40 is going to get second. Chad Alcaraz will settle for third. And, hey, Kid Lemon Lion, Luke Logan Allen, how'd you get up there, kiddo? Nice run.
Wow, that's it'll be interesting to hear some of the interviews, see what happened on that last restart, but definitely some confusion there. It mixed up the order.
Most excitement I've seen on the yellow flag lap in a long time. All right, the racing is over. Our broadcast is now. We'll take a short break. We'll come back and run down the finishing order. I can't wait to talk to some of the drivers, see what happened there on that restart. Don't go far. You're watching the Virtual Grip Network. Welcome back to Oxford Plains Raceway and VGN's Round 11 coverage of the Skitter Creek SK Modified Series Season 13. Oh, things got a little bit confusing there on the caution flag leading up to that final restart. But you know what? You'll never be confused if you're listening and watching our sponsor, which of course is RacedayCD.com, the most comprehensive site for short track racing news in New England. Boy, I listen to him all the time, and I know what's going on in New England short track racing. Let's go ahead and give you the rundown right now. He started on the outside of row one, and we thought he was going to start on the outside of row one for the restart as well. That's what got a little bit confusing. We're talking about Eric Stout. Nevertheless, he goes from second to first to get his seventh win of the season. Rob Higgins picks up 3 spots to finish in second. Chad Alcaraz, well, man, he led 59 laps, but he's going to have to settle for third. Somehow, Kid Lemon Lime, Luke Logan Allen, started in 12th, and when the dust settled, there he was in 4th. Nice run from the kid. Bradley Steffen was not able to follow Eric Stout into second position like he does so often. He'll have to settle for 5th. The back half of your top 10, TJ Henson, Aiden Alvecchion, Chris Oliver, who was out there, I think, the entire race without a pit stop. Well done, Chris. Andrew Macy, and Brian Bianchi in 10th. JR?
Yeah, coming home in 11th place tonight, we got Brian Neff. He was involved in a lot of action tonight back there in the pack. Ken Allen comes home in 12th. Rex Hoyle, unfortunately, he's 3 laps down in 13th place. Fred Leclerc, we talked about him throughout the race and the amazing passes he was trying to make. He comes home in 14th place. Brandon Feeney, 15th tonight. Jeff Aho having some internet troubles. He comes home in 16th place. 17th will go to Josh Buckley, taking a hard impact on the front stretch there. And I believe Scott Negus, he did not start the race, shown in 18th place.
We missed you, Scotty. Maybe we'll see you next time up there in Nova Scotia. Okay, with that, we're going to head and talk to our race winner, Eric Stout. All right. Well, so much to talk about. Where do we start? Let's go ahead and start with the first choice of you to make a pit stop. Was that your plan the whole time?
Really just kind of feeling it out. With these cars, especially in a daytime race where the track's a little slicker, that 40 to 60 window of green flag laps or abouts, right? Is kind of the spot. I think it makes sense. We came back out with, I want to say, like 35 green flag laps left, and I was stuck on the outside again. And I was, hopeful. I just honestly was trying to get back in line and kind of follow Chad through. And we got all stacked up there. And then there was a spin, but I think Ken spun to the grass, and it was too far in to bring out the caution, and I was able to slip through. But I felt like I don't know where they finished, but when Bianchi and Rex pitted,
were you surprised by that, or did you?
Yeah, it was, because I feel like at that point you made your bed, and. You know what I mean? Like
that's the quote we use, yes, on the broadcast. Same quote.
You're probably gonna fade. You're unlikely to hold me off, but now you're coming back out in like 8th, 9th, 10th, and you only have 20 or so laps to try to get through the field. And it was obviously a lot of chaos there the last 25 laps. I thought the racing for the first part of the race was really fun. I can't wait to go watch that restart around lap 45 with me and Chad. I was swinging it way to the outside. That was so much fun. And just seeing what I could make work out there before I kind of gave it up and was able to slip back in line. But a little lonely this week without AJ, without Patrick in the Discord. I was just kind of hanging out by myself. But happy to have a good race. Happy for Chad to have a great run. Honestly, he probably deserved the win tonight, because I was pushing there around from laps like maybe 20 to 50. Just trying to pressure him, not necessarily trying to make a move, but just trying to pressure him and see if I could get him to, push wide or catch the curb or something like that. And he was solid. He held up, kind of under the pressure that I was applying. So I feel bad for him that he didn't win, but I feel happy for him that he had a good run, because he's a hell of a lot better than I think what his results have showed this year. And of course, I'm happy for Rob, my fellow admin, to get a podium.
Get you out of here real quick on this one. Do you know what happened there on that final restart on the after the green white checker there? It looks like, were you going to take the outside lane, or Alcaraz was going to try to get underneath you, but he ended up being in third on the restart. Do you know what happened?
So something happened with the timing and scoring. I think Fred might have dropped, and that jumbled everything up. And I don't know why that would have affected Chad necessarily, because I think Fred had been in fourth. But I was nervous about that, and so I was on the radio saying, Chad, go to the outside, because I definitely was not going to take the outside. That would have been nuts. But
didn't think so.
I think it mostly worked out the way it probably should have. Maybe Chad and Rob should have.
Got a third, so it was
swapped.
All right.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah, great run. Thanks.
See you down the road.
See you guys next week.
Hey, Eric Stout with a good interview. All right, JR, who you got?
All right, I'm here with Rob Higgins, second place finisher tonight. Rob, man, congratulations. That's it's only your second top 5 this season. How good does that feel?
I know. Feels pretty good.
I got to ask you, because we were a little bit confused tonight, but, was your plan to make that pit stop, along with those other drivers around lap 60 there?
Yeah, I was looking like around halfway, little extra, So when that caution came out, I was like, I'm going to pit. It's perfect time for me.
It surprised a lot of us, but obviously was the right call because you guys were able to come back through the field there. And, you came into this race 15th place in points. I know that you've had to miss a race this season, so that's hurting you a little bit, but this is going to be a huge result for you. How do you look at the standings going forward?
Pretty good. I mean, I've had, since I last talked to you, week 1, I thought the season was going to be my season. It just hasn't turned out that way. So to get the second place again feels pretty good. I was hoping to run for a championship this year, but it doesn't look like it's happening.
Yeah, there's going to be seasons where that's the case. I completely understand. Rob, before I let you go, man, I got to ask you, going in the next week, going to Hickory, it's very fun but very bumpy racetrack. What are your thoughts on that place?
Hoping to keep it on track and finish the race. Last few haven't finished too many.
Absolutely, man. Hey, hopefully things work out for you next week, and we'll get to talk to you up in the booth again.
I hope so. Thanks, guys. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, thanks, man. That's Rob Higgins, guys, our second place finisher here tonight. Soup, who you got now?
Well, we get to talk to the man who led 59 laps, but will have to settle for third. First up, Chad, how do we do with your last name? We doing it right? Is it Alcaraz? Which is?
I'm going with Alcaraz.
Okay. We'll try to go with that one as well.
You can go with your version. I've heard you say both in the same sentence. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes, we switched it around. We're not sure how it works.
Yeah. Alcaraz works as well.
We tried to cover all of our bases. All right. First of all, well done. Maybe the best race of the season for you?
Yeah, it was. What I did was I turned off all distractions. We have a Discord that we talk on. I listen to music while I race, and I'm like, I gotta hear all the things that this sim gives me. I gotta feel everything on this track. They say that we're racing in circles. We just go in circles with this kind of racing, and with Oxford, we literally are just going in circles. I think I try to count at one lap of how many seconds we actually go in a straightaway, and I think it's actually like 0.5 seconds. Not even 1 full second do we actually have the wheel straight. So it was just turning in circles the whole time. It was great.
Tell us about pit stop strategy there.
Oh, gosh.
You came in and decided to do it. You happy with it? Regret it? What you're thinking?
I'm happy with it. Those are the biggest thing that gives me the most anxiety in this league, because sometimes we make the right one and sometimes we don't. Like last week, I made the wrong one because I stayed out. Although Bradley Steffen made the right one and he stayed out. It just happened to be that I got caught in a certain spot. This week, I made the right decision to go in, and it was mainly because to fall off on our tires. Like we were seeing like 14.5, 14.6 in terms of the in terms of the track times, and then we started hitting 14.7, 14.8. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be up the lead with half the field on new tires and coming up on me like that. So I came in, and I think Eric kind of ducked in like behind me. I'm like, cool. Now what did me in was he was better going through traffic than I was. So that's kind of how we ended up where we were.
Then you were out there, you had a couple shots of him on the restart on the outside, and then real quick, we got confused in the booth. Maybe you're a little bit confused there on that last one too. I thought Stout was leaving you the inside there for a minute. What was going on?
So what happened was, if you noticed on that number 71 blinked out, he had a maintenance problem. On my screen, he actually blinked ahead of me. Like his car just went zoom, and so it thought I was in, I think, third place at that point. But I really was in second, and so it tried to land me behind Eric, and it moved. Rob, it's one of those things that it happens sometimes. They don't have the ability to really, fix it on their own. But I'm cool with the result. I know the guys behind me were kind of might be disappointed in my restart, but I'm literally on the chat with Eric going, what? Am I behind you? Am I below you? I don't know where I'm supposed to be, Eric. That's on the white flag, and I'm saying that. So
I can imagine. Well, it was fun.
Yeah.
You were the star of the show, man. You put on a great race up there for 59 laps. Well done. We'll see you down the road.
Doing what I can for Nebraska Storm Chasers. Got on my car now, and can't wait to see the broadcast later and see how you guys react to us and our restart there at the end.
All right. Good luck to you.
All right. Thank you.
Nebraska Storm Chaser on this car. We're going to watch out for that. It's a good one to have. All right. Well, you know what? We hope you enjoyed the show. If you didn't, we're going to try to do better next time. When is it going to be? Well, you heard JR talk about we're going to be going to Hickory Motor Speedway. That's going to be 7 days from today. It'll be fun. You don't want to miss that one as the season begins to wind down. We'll see if Stout can win his 4th in a row. He's really been crushing it. There's other broadcasts as well. We'll be back Saturday night for the BRL doubleheader. We're going to be at Martinsville. Oh, that's good. That means I get to make myself one of my own little Martinsville hot dogs here at home. Always enjoy that when we go there. Those broadcasts, future ones, past one, all a production of the Virtual Grip Network. With that said, until next time, have fun storming the castle.